my thing is just like, I don't have like, I wouldn't even consider myself woke or not woke or label myself as anything. I'm like, bro, I'm just a guy that exists in the world. I want you to have the same shit that I got. I don't give a fuck what you are. Like, you could be trans, you could be gay, you could be black, Asian, whatever the fuck you are, bro, be you. I'm gonna be me. Let's just make sure that we all get the same shit. Women, men, everything. Like, just let's all be on the same playing field. You know what I'm saying? Also, I don't give a fuck about what you got going on. I'm a New Yorker. I'm on my business.
Hi, I'm Jeffy Haza, senior editor at Rolling Stone, and I'm here with the Kid Mero, writer, comedian, and producer, and the newest host of the Hot 97 Morning Show. What's up?
My guy.
How are you doing?
New York, we dap it up. You know what I'm saying? Yo, that was a radio voice right there.
Oh yeah. I've been told.
Very smooth and sensual.
So yeah, you've been on for like 2 weeks now, or this is your third week.
Going on week 3 now, like settling in, you know?
What's the vibes there lately?
Great, you know what I mean? Like, great vibes. Like, everybody's calling in, like, yo, you doing your thing. We so happy for you. Yo, we proud of you, bro. You know what I'm saying? You son of the Bronx. You know what I mean? Like, used to be sitting in the back of the car smoking blunts to this. Now I'm the host of it, you know? Like, it's just crazy. But the vibes are good, man. The energy is good. Everybody's, like, positive. Even the people that left were like, yo, go do your thing. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, yo, that's amazing. Shout out to Ebro and them, you know? My circadian rhythm is fucked up, but...
Yeah, because you're up mad early now.
You know what I'm saying? But other than that, we're good. But I haven't slept regularly in like 15 years, man. So
Damn.
I'm not tripping over that.
What was the process like? Like, when did you know that you were in the running for this gig?
Yo, honestly, like, there was, like, as far as I know, like, there wasn't even a running. Like, I was doing a speaking engagement, and when I finished, I got off stage, and I was approached by Dave Collymore was the dude that booked me to do that. And he was like, hey, can I introduce you to my friend Cujo? He wants to speak to you in the green room. And I was like, all right, no doubt. That's not weird. and homie came through and was just like, yo, I have an idea about, you know, I work at Hot 97, I have an idea, whatever. Can we find some time to like sit down? And I was like, okay. So I go over there and Alberto from MediaCo writes a number on it. This is some madman shit. Writes a number on a piece of paper, folds it, and goes like that, and like slides it across the table. And I opened it up. I was like, it's like, nigga, I got 4 kids and 2 mortgages. I was like, I have to come up. You know what I'm saying? And then that was it. We started like negotiating and stuff, like going back and forth on terms and things like that. And the whole time they were like, yo, you're the guy. You know what I mean? Like, there's no plan B. So let's get this, like, let's get you what you need. And go from there. But I was like, yo, this is tailor-made for your boy, you know? So
It's true. After Ebro announced that he was leaving, I forget who it was. It was one of these like hip hop podcasters was like, it's going to make a lot of sense to people when they find out who's like up
it was
next.
Rory,
yeah.
Rory from Rory and Mal. And he texted me, and I was like, how'd you know? You know what I'm saying? And he was just like, I knew it. Like, and I was just like,
that was him fishing.
When I went to meet with them, there was, there's people in the building. So I'm like, my assumption was, people saw me in the building and put 2 and 2 together. And then, maybe Rory got a homie up there or whatever. And it was like, yo, I saw Mero. I think it's going to be Mero, and give him a little
sneak info.
Yeah.
Was there like an onboarding process? Because obviously you podcast, so it's like very similar. But what did you have to learn transitioning that to like live radio?
Yo, honestly, like just timing and cadence. You know what I'm saying? Because with podcasting, obviously you have to have timing and cadence there too, but it's more like a lot of podcasts. I'm not gonna say Victory Light, because Victory Light, we're very highly produced. You know what I'm saying? So we take our time with it. But a lot of other podcasts is like a vibe fest. You get in there, you turn the mics on, you turn the cameras on, you just vibe for an hour and a half, 2 hours. Maybe you talk, maybe there's a structure of the show, maybe there's not. But with radio, there's a structure. It's like, yo, we got to get to these ads. We got to get to this music. We got to get to this. So, you got X amount of, here's your windows for you to hit these talk breaks and get into whatever you want to get into. So, that was, to me, that was really the only adjustment. It's just kind of like keeping an eye on that clock in the corner of the studio and just being like, all right, cool, 9:42, we're going to break. We're going up live. et cetera, et cetera. So, and then also, not cursing and catching like FCC
Yeah, I feel like that would
violations.
be hard.
Yeah.
Not
Well, it was
accidentally.
it was hard, but it wasn't hard because I'm like, yo, I got 4 kids, bro. You know what I mean? I be in situations all the time where I'm like, yo, you can't be up
Darn
here
it.
being like, fuck, this motherfucker look crazy. Like, bro, this is a kindergarten graduation. What are you doing? You sound insane. So I'm like, all right, I know how to, turn the joint from G to PG to NC-17 when needed.
And then, I think one of the cool elements of the radio is you guys had the call-ins.
Yes, that is my favorite part.
I remember on it was probably the first or second one, you had like the graffiti dude calling it.
Yes,
And
shout out to
that was,
Mister.
like, what was like? How do you come up with stuff like that? Like,
Cause to me, it's like, yo, like not to sound corny, but like Hot 97 is like hip hop. It's like New York hip hop. It's like if you think about basketball in New York, it's like, oh, the New York Knicks. If you think about baseball in New York, you think, oh, it's the New York Yankees. If you think about hip hop in New York, it's like, oh, Hot 97. So, bringing all aspects of it, like graffiti and all that other stuff, because that people might not know, like not necessarily might not know about, but like for me, this is what hip hop is.
Right.
It's like, yo, we out bombing, drinking 40s, listening to like Funk Master Flex on the radio in the car that we're driving around in.
Right.
You know what I mean? So to me, it was like, that aspect of like the culture of hip hop was important. So having him call it, and that went crazy on digital, bro. Like that did numbers, but because I feel like people weren't expecting, like, yo, Mero's gonna come up here and like really like blow, like splash Mero sauce all over this place.
Miro sauce.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, don't get it on you. You know what I mean? I'm mad fertile.
One thing we were talking about kind of off camera was like, bringing that digital side into it. Because I wasn't seeing Hot 97 clips on Reels and TikTok before you came on.
Right. And that's like part of the strategy is just like, yo, listen, man, like, let's take this thing that is, it's like a Nike swoosh. You know what I mean? Like the Hot 97 logo is like a brand, like it matters. You know what I'm saying? At least to me. So I was like, yo, let's take something that has a legacy, that has a history behind it, but let's just bring it into the future, man. And the future is online. Everybody's online. So it's like, if you are doing radio and you're just doing radio, you fucking up. Because you should be putting it everywhere. Like if you have a 5-minute run where you're talking and it's funny, it's like hard funny and y'all are laughing, you got a caller calling in saying some wild shit, run it. Shout out to them because they work fast.
And then another thing kind of is like, I know when Ebro left, a lot of people were talking about the legacy of New York hip hop on Hot 97.
Right.
And do you feel like you've had like a bit of a responsibility to, I guess, like highlight New York artists in a way that people had criticized your predecessor for?
Yeah, yes and no. You know what I mean? Like I know, like, yo, listen, Max B and Fetty Wap both came out of jail in the same year. So I was like, I think that we got the tri-state hip hop. We're back. Okay, we're back. We've seen Max at the Brooklyn Paramount. Amazing. Amazing. Transcendental experience. You feel me? So I think, like, yes, there is a responsibility for me. Like, and this guy's like, shout out to Xavier Sobeys, you know what I mean? Like people like that are not necessarily on everybody's like super hip hop radar, but they're hip hop. And they're New York City kids. You know what I'm saying? So it's like also shining a light there. You know what I mean? Because I feel like that was another gripe.
Right.
It was like, yo, y'all ain't bringing anybody up here that's from New York under the age of 45 or whatever. So, getting like evolving with hip hop, right? Like the genre is, got 16 million different like flavors. Let's highlight all of them, man. Why not?
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of a millennial take, whereas like the Gen Xers are a little.
It's like, no, we gotta go raw. But it's the same thing with like sports. I feel like, you know what I mean? Because like I mentioned the Yankees as like the New York baseball team, and they recently changed their facial hair policy.
And yeah, people were up in arms about it.
And it was crazy. And I was just like, but why? Like, why do y'all care? Like, we don't, like, just win. You know what I'm saying? Just win. If you just win and you just make good shit, it cures everything. So I was like, that was my thing. It was just like, let's just make good stuff, bro. Like, and everything else is going to fall into place. You know what I mean? Like, if I follow your instincts, talk to the young people, talk to the unks, talk to the YNs, talk to everybody. You know what I'm saying? And everything is going to work out.
Are you on TikTok like that? I heard you say Unk and YN. So
Yeah. I'm on it like as an observer. You know what I'm saying? I'm not posting a ton of stuff on there. My kids be helping me with that a lot. I ain't gonna lie. Like I got a 14-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 10-year-old, and an 8-year-old.
Oh, so you're like
I'm in the trenches, bro. I'm in the trenches. I was saying 6'7" before anybody. Check the stats. You know what I'm saying? Like I was hitting the 41 before anybody, bro. We doing all of that. I was doing all of that. Before it was burnt. Now it's burnt. You know what I mean? We onto other things. But yeah, nah, man, like they like, you know, it's kind of goofy, but like, you know, they keep me on in tune with like everything that they're into. Cause I'm dad. Like, you know, I work a lot. So I'm like fun dad. You know what I'm saying? Cause my wife is home being like, yo, eat this goddamn peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Ah, you bitch, I made you chicken cutlets, you don't want them. Ah. And I'm just like, I come home and I'm like, yo, what up? Yo, I got this random Supreme teddy bear. Who wants it? Like, you know, so, and they keep me abreast of what's going on. And yo, I would be remiss if I did not shout out Min, who's in the room right now, who is the one that was like, yo, you want to go to this Xavier Sobe show? West Hall? And I was just like, all right, fuck it, let's go. And I went and I was like, I don't understand this. And then I was like, 10 minutes into it, I was like, I totally understand this. Double whammy.
That is a good song. Yeah. Life is a balance.
You know what I'm saying? My love for Playboi Carti comes from my oldest son. You know what I mean? Because Self-Titled came out like 2017. Right. He's young, but he ain't that young.
Yeah, how old was he at that point?
7, 8, maybe? He was born 2011. Do that math.
So he was like just about the age where like music starts sounding. Like,
right. You start hearing and like bopping to stuff. Yeah. So he's like bopping to it. I'm like, oh, you fuck with this? I was like, okay. I was like, yeah. Pew, pew, slap, slap. You know what I mean? Like, I'm with it. Let's go. Let's make baby noises all over the place. And then Die Lit came out, and he's older, and I'm older, and we're just both in the car like loving it. You know what I'm saying? Like, Flatbread Freestyle is our theme song.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Adrian. You know what I'm saying?
I guess your son picked up on what Carti was
the
doing.
The Carti energy is just like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, is there anything that like you try to like not like block from them or steer them away from content wise?
Yeah, like anything that's kind of like, you know, like, well, I don't try to steer them away necessarily, but just be like, man, that shit is corny. Like if I walk into the room and I'm like, if they watching some shit like on TikTok and I'm like, man, get that AI bullshit out of here, bro. You know what I mean? Like in that way. And
like bully them out of it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because yo, bullying works. Like people be acting like bullying is all bad. It's not all bad. Like that's how we got a lot of like goofy motherfuckers in media now. Like, imagine academics would have got jumped a bunch of times growing up, and now we wouldn't have to deal with that
dude.
He'd be
a different person.
You know what I'm saying? He'd probably be a lot more, you know, reserved and humble. You know.
I mean, it's kind of funny you bring him up because it's like those are the two ends of the spectrum, where it's like kind of what you do, which I think resonates more broadly, and then there's kind of the edgy kick streamer side of it.
Right.
How do you balance this like post woke culture?
It's great for me because it was like my thing is just like I don't have like I wouldn't even consider myself woke or not woke or label myself as anything. I'm like, bro, I'm just a guy that exists in the world, and I want you to have the same shit that I got. I don't give a fuck what you are. Like you could be trans, you could be gay, you could be black, Asian, whatever the fuck you are, bro. Be you. I'm gonna be me. Let's just make sure that we all get the same shit. Women, men, everything. Like just let's all be on the same playing field. You know what I'm saying? Also, I don't give a fuck about what you got going on. I'm a New Yorker. I'm on my business. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. It's just like, yo, bro, like don't get me on my soapbox, but like shit like the Riley Gaines shit, like I'm like, bro, this is a grift, shorty. Like you suck. You came in 5th. You know what I mean? You didn't lose because there was a transgender athlete in this swim meet. You lost because you were ass. You lost because you're ass. So fight against being ass. Get back in the lab, fix your shit up, and stop blaming this shit on another people, you know, a marginalized community that got nothing to do with you. You know, so that's my thing. It's just like, that comes from my pops, you know what I mean? From my parents just being like, yo, you know, treat people how you want to be treated. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be a piece of shit. Like, wow, what a concept. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow, that's such a, wow. Don't be a piece of garbage human being and things will be okay.
Even though nowadays I feel like the worst people get rewarded. And but listen, man, we live in the capitalism, baby. You know what I'm saying? And it's so funny to me because I'm like, I seen like a video of people like bulk buying like milk. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? In like Texas or some shit like that. And then there's like a dude, it's like Johnny MAGA or whatever the fuck, right under the tweet being like, see, this is why the illegals and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, that's called capitalism, pussy. Like, that's exactly what you like. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this guy's going to take this milk that costs $2 here and go sell it for $3.50 and make a profit. That's what y'all want. You know what I mean? And that's what gets rewarded. Yo, make more money, grow. Make more money, grow. Make more money, grow. Like, that's it. Like, infinitely. You know what I mean? Like, never like, yo, we're good. We got to this level, we're good. I'm chilling here.
You know what I mean? Like, because people will tell me all the time, yo, bro, yeah, you talking about, you speak for the working class, bro. That's bullshit, bro. You live in Jersey and you got a saltwater pool and this, that. I'm like, yeah, bro.
Saltwater pool?
Hey, bro, we got melanin, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, them chemicals is harsh on the brother's skin, bro. Like, come on now. You know what I'm saying? I gotta.
I never heard of that saltwater pool.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, it's for us. You know what I'm saying? That chlorine and shit will fuck you up.
That's true too. Yeah.
Go in the chlorine pool and come out and see what you look like. Like, you don't look like Kevin Durant's left leg.
That's crazy.
Same shit, bro. I come out like, I'm like the SpongeBob meme, like, I need like 18 pounds of cocoa butter after I come out a public pool. But yeah, it's like people say that type of shit to me, and I'm just like, listen, man, like, again, I care. You know what I'm saying? Like, I care because that's where I come from.
Right.
You know what I mean? I wasn't born, like, I'm not Andrew Cuomo, dog. Like, I wasn't born like, yo, hey, the world is my oyster. Like, that shit was not my oyster at all. Like, my pops was out there busting his ass. My mom was going to school, pregnant with me, and working. So I'm like, that's what I saw growing up.
Right. I mean, that kind of points to one of the first people you had call in, Mamdani.
Yeah.
You know, what is it like now with Mamdani as mayor? You know, how are you feeling about the city?
I love it because he came in and, bro, in 8 days, he had UPK on and popping.
Yeah.
So I called my sister. I was like, yo, you're welcome. You know what I'm saying? I made that happen for you. You know what I mean? We took him uptown. You know what I'm saying? We flipped the Bronx. We flipped Washington Heights. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, nah, man, it reminds, because to me, I'm not doing it for me. I'm doing it for the mayor of 10, 15 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Who was like, yo, if de Blasio didn't have UPK, I would have been fried. I moved to Jersey because that shit ended. You know what I'm saying? And I couldn't afford it, bro. I got 4 kids, bro. That's like 80 bands worth of childcare. Yeah. And it's like, bro, New York, like, if you got a regular job, if you're a teacher, my parents bought a house in the Bronx. My mom's a public school teacher. My pa's an HVAC technician. None of them come from money. There was no windfall of cash. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing like that. So I'm like, we need that to be a reality for New Yorkers. Like, if you teach at PS 86 and you want to live around the corner from your job, you should be able to.
I mean, now that you kind of are one of the voices of the city, you know, do you feel kind of politically activated where you want to start speaking out on the air about this stuff? It's
funny because, like, you know, speaking out sometimes will cost you money, but I don't give a fuck. Because, like, my pops, you know, shout out to my pops, shout out to Tito, you know what I'm saying, Big T. Shout out to Tito, my pops. He really was like, yo, when I started doing the TV stuff, because he's very, like, pro, like, socialism, you know, grew up under, like, the whole, you know, occupation of DR in the 60s or whatever. Wow. And, like, you know, they got out of the dictatorship, had a free and fair election. Juan Bosch won, Democratic Socialist. And the country was like, yes, this is our guy. We love him. And then the U.S. came and was like, nah, you got socialism in your name.
As we often do.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So they were like, yo, y'all need freedom. So they came and stationed a bunch of Marines, and my uncle shot guns at him. I was like, pow, 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 get the fuck out of here. So that's where I'm coming from, you know? So I always was, like, politically activated, but, like, my pops used to be like, papi, be careful what you're saying in front of the white people because they taking the money away from you. And you here, I come here to the United States so that you can have a good future for yourself and for my grandchildren. So don't fuck that shit up by saying, you know, that we have a painting of Ayatollah Khomeini in the living room. And I was like, okay, I will not tell the world that we have a painting of Ayatollah Khomeini in our living room.
So you're from New York, you're from the Bronx. You know, take me back to kind of the beginning of your comedy career.
The beginning of it, unofficially, was like at 7 or 8 years old. Because I would be in, like, a room like this, not this fancy, you know what I'm saying? But the furniture was covered in plastic and there was a lot more Dominicans around. But, you know, family gatherings and things like that, like, my pops would call me out and be like, yo, papi, tell him how your Uncle Diego acted when he's drunk. So then I do impression of my uncle drunk, and, bro, it's grown-ass men in the room, dying laughing, like, yo, this little motherfucker, oh, that boy good, you know what I'm saying? Like, that type of energy. So I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, okay. I was like, y'all don't listen to me any other time. I was like, but right now I got command of this room, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, even then, I was like, okay. I was like, if you make people laugh, man, if you make people, you know, smile, be happy, enjoy themselves, like that's powerful. So from then on, I was like, I don't know, you know, I'm first generation, so that clearly was not like a
career
path for me to be like, yo, mom, I want to be a comedian. She would have been like, get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like all along, like doing my little jobs or whatever, you know, retail stuff. I got into teaching as like, yo, this is gonna be my career. Maybe I'll do comedy on the side, writing or whatever. And then she started clicking, bro. Like I started writing Victory Light the blog, you know, back in the day on Blogspot. You know what I mean?
OG shit.
Yeah, you know, and then I would just get mad, you know what I mean? Because I was broke. I was working as a teacher's assistant in the Bronx, in the junior high school that I went to. So I was making like $23,000 a year. I wasn't making shit. I was broke. You know, my girl was making 3 times what I was making. So like, you know, my masculinity was being challenged. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, we at the supermarket and she's telling me to push it down. Like, I'm a kid. Like, yo, nah.
That's crazy.
Put the Cocoa Pebbles down. We getting the Dino bites. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that type of stuff. So I just kept going with Victory Light, just pumping. And I would literally like end all of them. It was cathartic. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't even like, yo, I'm trying to make something with this. It was just like, yo, let me get my shit off. So I would end with like, yo, fuck all of y'all. Like, if you're reading this, fuck all of y'all. I'm still broke. Like, you ain't helping me. Like, reading this, thank you, I guess. Like, whatever. But then it ended up being that the right people were reading it, right? Like, so it wasn't like hundreds of thousands of people reading it, but it was like people like Anthony Bourdain, rest in peace, like Wale, the most random collection of people you could think of, man. Like porn stars, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Alexis, Texas. Wow. Like reading my joint. And I was just like, oh, this is crazy. So then I got on, so this is like, you know, 2007. So then 08, 09, Twitter comes along. And my homegirl, Crystal, was like, yo, this is like tailor-made for you, bro. She's like, I know that you don't know what ADHD is, but you definitely got it. And like, yo, you just firing off one-liners and jokes and like non sequiturs. This shit is made for you. So I was like, all right, cool. So I get on it. I'm on my flip phone texting 40404.
Text
yes.
Tweets. Yeah.
Yep. So I was doing that. And I use it mostly to just be like, yo, new Victory Light post is up. And then just like observational shit. And like they used to have like a GPS feature where you could see people around you. So like, you know, Bronx Twitter, Brooklyn Twitter, like that was like a thing. So you would hashtag like Bronx Twitter, and like talk to people in the Bronx about what's going on. So I was just cutting ass up there, like just joking, making, you know, doing my thing. And then, you know, and then Donnie Kwak from Complex.
Donnie Kwak.
Yeah, shout out to him. You know what I'm saying? He knew. But before then, Victor Lopez was one of the people reading the blog. And he worked at this company called Cinetic Media. And he was like, yo, do you have representation? And I was like, legal? Like, what do you mean by that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know nothing about entertainment. I didn't know anything about agencies or none of that shit. So I was just like, what are you talking about, bro? But ended up meeting up with him and my former agent. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, y'all think this is like viable? And they were like, yeah. So then from there, Complex comes along. I started doing Mero in the Wild, which then turns into Deezus versus Mero. And just like, we out of here.
Yeah, I think one of your tweets came up today because Ian Connor.
Yes, yo!
And then you had the tweet about him getting his ass
Getting smacked with a bunch of French motherfuckers standing around being like, sacre bleu, oh mon dieu. Like, it's like, yo, these niggas are fighting. This is crazy. We ain't never seen no shit like this. We French. Like, yo, Ian Connor, yo, that motherfucker's so weird. I seen him, bro. I was at, what's the Chateau, whatever, Chateau Marmont?
Yeah.
I was at Chateau Marmont having like a business lunch or whatever. And I'm sitting there, I think it was, shout out to Nick Weidenfeld. I think it was with Nick Weidenfeld and Victor. And Ian kind of walks in with A$AP Rocky and like after him, like, little bro, like, hey. Like, and he had, like, yo, I'm dating myself here, but I don't know if y'all remember the My Buddy dolls. Like, my buddy and me. It was like a fucking doll that had on overalls and like a striped t-shirt. Okay. And I was like, this motherfucker in here dressed like my buddy. This shit is crazy, bro. Like, this dude is weird as fuck. And now he's like, yo, what he said? Like, he said Rocky killed Yams. So I'm like, bro, get off Twitter.
Get off
Twitter and get off the yak, bro. Like, dude, that Guito's not good for you, bro.
But what was funny about seeing that tweet was like, because that was 2016.
2016, dog.
And that's like the era that the kids are finding out about now. So we were just talking, you were at Complex, and then when did the Vice show start?
Right then, 2016, 15, 16, like, you know, get my sea legs, whatever, was at MTV before.
Right.
And to me, that was like community college for TV. Like, learn how to do TV. Like, learn how to open up to camera, learn how to, like, you know, pace yourself, don't, read from a prompter without sounding like, make it sound natural.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Where like ChatGPT.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Which is a skill in of itself. Like reading the prompter, ad-libbing, and then going back to that script without sounding like, is hard as hell, man. So I learned all of that stuff, then took all of that and went to Vice, and I was just like, yo, I'm ready to cook, and started around 2016, right around the time of the presidential election. And that was like the first, like, yo, talk about getting thrown into the fire. It was like, yo, listen, your first mission at Viceland TV networks is a live, like, election broadcast. Yeah, a live election special broadcast. I was like, oh, shit, okay. I pulled up that day because I had a self-report. So I had to drive my old 5 Honda Accord and park that shit myself, and then get up there. When I parked there, I was like, God damn. I was like, they got mad trailers outside. I was like, oh, this is live TV shit. Mad wires and everything. I was like, okay, bet. So then went on and did that, and I was just like, oh. After that, I was like, yo, y'all be complaining a lot, bro. That shit was kind of light work. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. You said you had Cardi B on at that night. So it was Cardi B and Jim Jones?
Yeah. This is early. This is like Gangsta Bitch Music Volume 1.
Yeah, because she had just popped out.
Yeah. This is like Love and Hip Hop Cardi.
So what happens when Trump gets announced? Like it's actually Trump.
Cardi B's like, yo, I don't know what we're gonna do because the strippers, I don't know. Like the drug dealers be paying the strippers. I don't know what's going on. Like she was like, yo, concerned. Everybody, there was like an air of like, yo, hold on, son. Like, what is going on? Like, this is not supposed to happen. Like, this is supposed to be a layup for the lady whose last name is the same name as the former president, right? Like, this, and it's funny because, like, talking to Zoran during his campaign, I was like, yo, brand loyalty is good for like ketchup and tires and like hot sauce, not for politicians. Wow. You know what I'm saying? And I should have known that then because, Trump took advantage of that shit in 2016. Like, yo, hey guys, I'm new here. I don't fuck with none of these niggas. I'm doing my own thing. Fuck Hillary. Check her emails. She's scamming. You know what I'm saying? And then, but then they had some dude downstairs that was like the Steve Kornacki of Vice, I guess, and was just like coloring in a map with a crayon, like red and blue. And when he held up that map and that shit was like red, I was like, all right, we about to see. You know what I mean? Because I'm Dominican, bro. Like I've seen like civil unrest. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, so I was like, yo, we about to, America, y'all about to get a little taste.
Oh man. It's crazy because I was briefly at Viceland and I remember just like the sort of experimental vibe of it all.
Yeah, I loved it.
And yeah, I mean, for you guys, what was that like? Just being able to just do kind of whatever?
Bro, it was so fire because I don't know if you remember, there was a moment where Ted Cruz got caught favoriting Pinot shit.
Yes.
And like, we were like, yo, what kind of Pinot is Ted Cruz watching? So we literally were like, yo, that day we came in and like, there was like a semblance of like a run of show already. But we was like, nah, fuck that. We watching the Ted Cruz Pinot. Like, and we're gonna watch porn on TV and critique it in real time. I was like, ain't no way. I was like, bro, coming from Viacom?
Yeah.
I was like, ain't no way we would have did this shit at MTV. So I was like, yo, it was phenomenal, bro. But then, found out that, Vice and them, Shane Smith and crew was like, we worth $28 billion. Like, we good, baby. Verizon, let me get another $500 million, baby. Let me get a bump. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, nah, bro, this is not. And then Victor was a very astute guy, was just like, yo, hold on, fam. He's like, yo, these motherfuckers taking on a lot of loans. I was like, yo, what do you mean? He's just like, yo, they just taking money. They got to pay that shit back. And they valued at $5 billion.
Successful show because the ratings were not.
They weren't great. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, yo, first of all, credit to Vice, they put the shit on YouTube in its entirety.
Yeah.
Which it was like, yo, that show probably would have died on the vine if it would have just been like relegated to like cable TV, like, and that's it. But the digital strategy was on point for the time. So
yeah, they were
people
good.
got to see it.
They're good at a few things. So the show ends.
Except pay motherfuckers on time.
Yeah, that part. But the show ends and it's kind of like the fracturing of a creative partnership.
Yeah.
What was that kind of moment? I guess I was like 20, I want to say 18, 19?
22 actually was
whoa.
the split. But yeah, no, it was like I was very focused on like a certain area. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like where you see like opportunity to like really cook, I wanted to attack that. And like I'm like, this is where I'm going. You going? You coming? If you're not coming, I'm going. You know what I'm saying? Because this is what needs to be done for like sustained success. Because I'm like, yo, I'm thinking different. Like, I'm not a single guy. I got 4 kids. I had a mortgage and shit. Like, I had just moved to Jersey because I was like, 4 kids don't fit in the 2-bedroom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was like, okay. I was like, every time I open my closet, some shit, a Pyrex falls on my head. So I was like, all right, we gotta bust a move. So I was very like, committed to the idea of longevity in entertainment and not just being like a flash in the pan, like some weird crypto meme coin. I'm like, I'm trying to be out here like a gold bar, bro, just forever.
And I mean, that's 2022. So, the pandemic was kind of starting to die down at that point.
Yeah.
And then you start doing the podcast with Mello.
Yeah.
And I mean, you must have had a prior relationship. How did that start for you?
If it sounds like we do, but like it was, you know what it was? He was in Vice. He came through Vice a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So like we would like cross paths there, and it was a couple of like athletes. CeCe Sabathia was another one. Like we homies now because like he would pull up and just want to watch the show.
Yeah,
he's like, yo, this is my favorite show, bro. Like this is it. And Mello saw something there. And when it was time to like for him to like, get into his media chapter or whatever, he was like, yo, that's the guy, And we did like one like chemistry test episode, and I'm like, yo, y'all could air that because that was fire. Because now Victory Light is not just it started as a blog now, and then it was like a podcast, and now it's like a production services entity. You know what I mean? Like
services entity.
You know what I'm saying? Like we will produce stuff for you.
I mean, it's kind of interesting though, because your career goes from kind of being one of the first people on the internet, kind of original Twitter voice. Then you're on, complex video stuff, and then you're on TV, and then you're back on a podcast, and then now you're on terrestrial radio.
Yeah.
Like, how does that work?
Because it's like, bro, everything, shit is cyclical. You know what I'm saying? And like when I was doing podcasting, like the first go around, it was like, all right, this is like new. You know what I mean? Like this is like like a new medium. Like, whoa, like, yo, you can only get this on an iPhone. Holy shit, like, whoa. And now it's like, bro, everybody and their mother got a podcast. So it's just like, all right, what do motherfuckers not? That's me, like Max B. Like, yo, y'all go this way, I go up. You know what I'm saying? That. And then, what are people not doing? Terrestrial radio. Boom. Let me get in there. Let me get in there and shake shit up. You know what I mean? And that, again, like a natural progression. I was talking to Eddie Wong, and he was telling me like, yo, people want to read shit. Like people want to go back to like
he's
reading.
Got a book coming out. I think.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Shout out to him. And that's what it is. Like, it's like, I feel like we're going back to like older media now, like radio, books, and things like that. So I'm like, hey, I'm with that. Cause I love me a book. That's crazy. That sounds crazy. I like to read. But yeah, nah, man, it's like, I think the podcast shit got saturated, and to stand out, you got to really do something different, and that was the purpose of Victory Light. Was like, all right, we're gonna look different, we're gonna sound different, we're gonna treat this like, like it's like a very Tiffany product. You know what I'm saying? For people that are out there consuming it.
And I was watching the recent episode y'all had. I think you had Ty Lil on.
Yes,
he's like the new kind of young streamer kid.
Yeah, and
I feel like maybe it's like a New York thing because it's like you got you guys from back in the day, and now I feel like every new funny streamer is a kid from the Bronx. And I'm like, what's going on up there?
Dog, we got the sauce. I've been trying to tell people for the longest time, bro. Like it's like the forgotten borough. Like there's 30 Merrills up there. You know what I'm saying? Like I just got out early. You know what I mean? I got out early. I was like, I could write. You know what I mean? Like that was my main thing. It was like, yo, I was a writer first.
Right.
Like I wrote a show with Ezra Koenig about school because like I just met him on the humble.
That's crazy.
Like he was like, he started following me on Twitter and he was just like, yo, you funny. And I was just like, I don't know who the fuck you are, dog. You know what I'm saying? And Victor was like, yo, you don't know. And Victor went to boarding school. He's like, yo, you don't know Van Weekend, bro? You never heard Contra, bro? Like, what? And I was just like, nah. So Ezra is like, yo, let's link up, you know, have a drink, whatever, and just like chop it up. I was like, all right, no doubt. And then Victor's like, yo, can I come? Like, because I'm a fan. Like, you know, I was like, yeah, please come. Otherwise, I'm gonna just be sitting there and be like, yo.
Wait, was that show Neo Yokio?
No, it was actually, it never got made. It got shelved. It was like Abbott Elementary before Abbott Elementary. Because the conversation that we had was, the show came about organically because we were just talking. And it came from like, he's asking me like, what do you do for like a living? You know what I'm saying? Because I make money doing this complex stuff, but it ain't paying the bills for real.
Yeah.
You know? And I was like, I work in a school. He was like, oh no shit. Like I worked at a school too, before my band got signed. I was like, word? I was like, you were a teacher? Where? And he was like, Bed-Stuy. I was like, get the fuck. I was like, pre-gentrified Bed-Stuy, bro? You were a teacher? That's crazy. I was like, that's wild.
She kind of explains a little bit.
Right. And then I started talking about my school that I was working in, because I started as an assistant, and there was like, you know, they got Teach for America, New York City Teaching Fellows. Teach for America in particular will grab a white boy from Vermont and be like, yo, like, yo, you working on 138th Street, bro. Good luck. You know what I'm saying? Like, here's a book of Tupac poetry, motherfucker. I hope you don't get clowned. You know, and like you know, comparing those experiences. You know what I mean? Because his being from like a fellowship, me being like just looking for a job, really. Right. You know what I'm saying? And telling my mom being like, "Yo, how do you have diesel jeans and North Face jackets, bro, with no job?" And I'm like, my girlfriend is very generous.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Which was a lie. But then it became a thing where it was just like, I got to get a job, and I got to figure out what that job is, because it's gonna be like my career. And I used to get the Chief. I don't know, like, listen, New Yorkers, y'all know what the Chief is. The Chief is like a newspaper that just has all the municipal job openings in it.
Oh, wow.
Like, yo, here's where you go to take the sanitation test, and this is the time, and here's where you go to get to be a Port Authority, like toll booth worker and all that shit. So I'm going through it. And I'm just like, damn, all these jobs piss test. I was like, what don't piss test? And I was like, oh, the Board of Ed don't piss test? I was like, we in there. And I got nominated by a principal who worked at the, shout out to Ms. Jones, she's retired now. She nominated me to work at the school that I went to as a kid. So I'm going into school with a different set of eyes than like a Teach for America kid. Because I'm like, I went to this school. Like, if you're a student in this school, you might be a secret child of mine. You know what I'm saying? Because I was wilding. But yeah, no. So it was like we compared notes, like just exchanging stories, and like, you know, how
he's from New York too, right?
Right,
yeah,
New Yorker. Oh, he's from Jersey, but like, you know, went adjacent, you know. And it was really like, yo, damn, like your experience and my experience are vastly different.
Wow,
that's fucking hilarious. Let's write it.
Yeah.
So we did it, wrote it, sold it. I had never got that amount of money in my life, and I was just like, wow, this is crazy. I was like, I made my entire year's salary in one shot. I was like, I think I'm gonna keep doing this writing stuff.
And it never got made.
Never got made.
Damn, I want to see
that shit. The story of TV, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you know how many hundreds, thousands of shows, man, that are probably fire never got made.
So, you know, thinking about Hot 97, you're kind of running the New York airwaves. What are 2026? What are the big themes in New York that you're looking at?
For me, it's like, let's bring, like, because everything that people are doing now digitally is stuff that comes from like older media.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you watch, like, shout out to Gabe P, like, if you watch like On the Radar, and, you know, so-and-so's coming up here to freestyle, you know, so-and-so's coming up here to DJ, that was all done at the radio station before, right? Like, yo, we're gonna go freestyle at Flex. We're gonna go up to DJ Clue, whoever, like, and freestyle. But like bringing back like some of that, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, like in a fresh, modern way, but, you know, stamping it where it's like, yo, this is that Jadakiss freestyle that you love. This is where he spit it first. You know what I mean? Like, back in the day, like with Styles P, who was drunk and said it on the air, and they were cursing, and Flex was like, like trying to block out the curses. Yeah. That's like a moment. So for me, it's about creating moments. You know what I mean? Like New York radio moments that are gonna, like, you know, resonate and like the flex, like, yo, I need you to, if you need a convenience store, any type of 24-hour store, put your hand in the register, right? Come on. I'm trying to have multiple of those, you know, in my tenure over there at Hot 97.
I know you got the Awake on. I feel like you kind of have the streetwear sensibility that I think a lot of hip hop media doesn't quite get.
Yeah, nah. Not at all. I feel like there's like a weird divide between like legacy media stuff and like new digital media stuff. And I'm like, bro, I'm right in the middle. So I'm like, let me just lay across and be the bridge. You know
Just
what I mean?
everyone on top of you.
Yeah, like, yo, listen, yo, Kai Cenat, Phantom, Talil, cross the bridge into legacy media. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or vice versa. Like,
Right.
Dean Meminger, like, yo, come over here and do this podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, just connecting those dots. Cause it's like, man, listen, once those two generations connect and start interacting and making stuff together, whoo,
Especially in New York.
we're cooking. What?
Yeah. Well, that was really great. Thank you so much for being here, man.
My guy, appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Listen, we gonna practice our heel flips outside.
Yeah, we do some heel flips outside.